Sis, welcome back to Marites Matters, where we besties talk about issues in a fun and casual way, like, a la Marites. So, in the last episode, we talked about the recent survey of the presidential candidates, right? And for today, we'll be talking about, guess what? Politics again. Yun yung favorite nating mga Marites, but in a new context.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And with some tea about Facebook. You heard it
Oh.
right. And of course, we'll be digging deeper with a case using our bestie, our favorite framework, Bestie Potterbox.
Oh.
Nice! Okay, so mga Marites, just to keep you guys updated para hindi naman kayo out of the loop and makasunod sa discussion. So just to give you a brief background, in 2019, Facebook decided to not fact-check nor censor political advertisements on the platform, and this announcement received a lot of criticisms, especially since 2020 US elections were just around the corner. So it was an explosive issue. It was a big issue to the point that their decision was made with Mark Zuckerberg appealing to the First Amendment that upholds people's right to free speech. He believes that it is dangerous for private entities to be involved in the censorship of content.
Truly, and instead of regulating political ads, the alternative Facebook is offering is to verify a user's personal and government ID and the proof of their location before they can post an ad. Because according to Mark Zuckerberg, our bestie Mark Zuckerberg, this allows and paves way for transparency and accountability, which is important because Zuckerberg stressed out the credibility of the publisher is what matters most and not the post itself. Sabi nga rin niya na not filtering means that people can discern for themselves what's credible because the truth will come out anyway.
Tapos, people believe that his stance on Facebook's free speech policy is too idealistic daw. Lalo na't Facebook's algorithm filters one's data to create these so-called echo chambers, if you guys know that. And it makes the content sa newsfeed natin kind of one-sided and people don't even notice that. And what if you only see one view that's not even correct, di ba? It contributes heavily to confirmation bias. In our society today, Facebook is now a place where people go to for news. So, no wonder that political advertisers pay so much money to advertise on Facebook.
Oo nga, no? Oh my God. Money is king. Anyway, now that we've... Wait, sorry. Now that we set the facts straight, let's discuss the values, aka the starting points of the parties that influence what they said and decided to do.
Alright, so in this case, the parties involved are, of course, Facebook and the top political parties in the US, none other than the Republicans and the Democrats.
That's right, bestie. But in this case, we can start with Facebook. As mentioned, Facebook does not want to filter ads because they don't want to interfere with the public's freedom to say whatever they want. And that Facebook, as a private company, should not be in charge of deciding what content deserves censorship.
And since they were referring to the First Amendment when they were talking about how they value free speech, you can also say na they value following the law.
But besties, even if they mention all of these values, like value here, value there, bottom line, their only value is profit. Yun yung priority nila. Because by not filtering ads, that means everyone pays and, advertise there. So all the more money for them. It is business after all, besties.
You're right, bestie Alyssa. Ngayon, doon naman tayo sa values ng Republicans as critics. And honestly, their values are similar to Facebook, except the profit part, of course. So like Facebook, they value free speech. So they also value adhering to the law, to the First Amendment. So because of that, they don't believe that private companies should be given the responsibility to regulate content. Also because they don't like it that Facebook puts down a lot of their own conservative content, as seen in this Vox article that I've read before.
Oh yeah, Nat. And also, I read this, that they believe that if you regulate political ads, voters would not be able to know who the candidates really are. And I had a striking realization kanina na parang they're also like Facebook, no? Na there is something more than what they value.
Wait, bestie, di ko gets. Paki-repeat. Sorry, naglag si brain.
Okay, Alice, I'll try to explain na. So, these
Okay.
Republican critics say that they value free speech. But look they're pushing for free speech and are against censorship because they are the ones who are being censored by Facebook. Not necessarily valuing free speech for the good of everyone. So, gets mo na.
Gets ko na. 100%
Also,
gets
yeah. Also, it's reasonable to advocate for free speech but it can allow the party room to release false political ads directed sa mga Democrats. And they will say that they can do it because they can say what they want anyway.
So again, bias comes into play.
You know, my whole face, the exact time was like that. But thank you for those insights, Vesty. Like, it really pays to have a discussion to dig deeper on the party's political values, no? Well, let's move on to the Democrat as critics. They are pushing naman for censorship to protect people from misinformation caused by the false ads. In this case, you can say that they value the social responsibility of Facebook. Nagawa nila yon as mentioned in an Axios article that I read.
Wait, Bestie Darwin, are you sure na that's all there is to it? Kasi while valuing the social responsibility of Facebook to filter all these false political ads from their platform, that may sound good, but what do the Democrats pertain to when they say false political ads? Kasi most of the complaints I've seen from them about these false ads, you know what they come from? The Republicans. Yun yung definition nila ng false ads, not even taking into account that they also have their own false ads as a party.
Oh my God, Bestie Nat, you're so right. Like in several articles that I've seen and read where they press Facebook na itighten yung regulation, nagko-complain nila sa Facebook na wala daw silang ginagawa about posts made by Trump, a Republican.
Well, you know what? I think it's better for us to justify their situation based on the frameworks that we've discussed and we've learned, right, in our comm ethics class. Well, for me, I feel like for the Democrats, it's utilitarianism and duty ethics that justify them. In utilitarianism, good of the people do not be exposed to the false ads. Example, the Democrats using Trump. Duty ethics because the Democrats have their moral obligations to the party's political reputation and ideologies, as well as the duty of the politicians to be truthful in their advertisements.
I get what you're saying, Bestie Dark. Kaya lang, seryoso ba talaga, sis? Like, are we for real that it is the good of the people to not be exposed to false ads? Yun ba talaga yung pinaglalaban ng Democrats? Kasi like for me, I mean, that would be so naive because we know that the Democrats don't really mean that. They have to advance their political party's agenda. They probably want censorship to censor the Republicans' ads since they often complain about them. Hindi na lang pag ganun na nangyari di mas talo magkakaroon ng one-sidedness sa Facebook.
Oh my God, thank you for bringing that up. Sorry, but that's super true. Well, moving on to another critics, the other side, the Republicans. I feel like utilitarianism because good of the people to have the freedom of speech and expression. And they also adhere to duty ethics because they have their moral obligations to their political ideology and reputation, which is why they push for free speech since they don't like the anti-conservative bias on Facebook. But they also have the duty to practice their freedom of speech. That is why we see how they're so vocal about, that they're not for censorship for the ads on Facebook.
Okay. Oh, wait lang, hold on. Wait. Something's really fishy. So, basically, our Republican besties value free speech, but then they're using their freedom of speech to release false ads. Parang di mo natatama.
Period, Bestie Ludette. Also, both Republicans and Democrats, parang they really have something heavy and wrong going on. Also, for Bestie Facebook naman, I believe na they're following utilitarianism and duty ethics because, one, they believe that freedom of speech is good for the majority, and two, the money that they get from all these political ads will bring in more profit for the company and more money daw for the economy. And for duty ethics naman, free speech is Facebook's categorical imperative.
Period. I mean, Facebook's just really concerned about their profit, diba? That's why they cling on to the people in power as well as welcoming their platform to all political ads. Let me repeat, all political ads. Because the more ads, the more profit. And now that Biden's in position, did you guys hear the latest chika? Did you guys hear how even Twitter ripped off Trump on their platform?
Oh yeah, Bestie, I've heard about that. Yes. I was on Twitter 24/7 and super damning backlash against Trump doon. And also, did you guys hear about another chika? That is a donation of Facebook and Twitter to the Democrats. A huge chunk of that donation. Yeah, guys, like 90% ata to the Democrats and like super onting percent to the Republicans. And as well as the censorship that New York Post about Hunter Biden. Who is Hunter Biden? The son of President Biden, who is a Democrat.
Oh
My
my
Oh my
God.
God.
OMG, OMG. This issue is just getting more and more complicated. But besties, now that we know the frameworks that they're using, I feel like, we can move on to loyalties naman, which look pretty obvious already. So, for the Democrat critics, their loyalty is to themselves, but they put the public's good as a front. They say na they want censorship so that the public is not exposed to all these false ads. When in reality, ang ayaw lang naman nila na false political ads yung sa mga Republicans. Meron naman din silang false ads as Democrats.
Okay, that's true ha. Because for Republican critics naman though, their loyalty is to themselves rin because their duty is to their political parties, ideologies, and reputation. They want to advocate for free speech not because for the good of the people, but so that they can break away from the censorship placed on them. They can also use that reasoning to get away with publishing false ads against Democrats. For Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, their topmost loyalty is whoever is in power because that will give them more profit, more than their users. They bow to them. With that being said, they allow free speech in their platform because that's where most of the money comes from.
Oh my gosh, besties, kaloka. Money is king nga. But okay, time for my favorite part. Welcome to my turf, the judgment! Okay, sure. All three of them can be justifiable naman kasi by the frameworks mentioned kanina and principles kasi subjective yon. Pero, those can be also used to show na unethical sila kasi together with the more objective frameworks. Okay, start natin with Bestie Facebook. So, hindi sila ethical according to utilitarianism kasi not regulating ads doesn't promote greater good kasi people will be exposed by misinformation which can lead them to vote for incompetent leaders based in misinformed views and that will be bad for society. I mean, look at the state of the political climate here. Kaloka!
Oh my God, kaloka talaga. Na-mention mo pa talaga yun sis. Kaloka talaga. Naku.
Diba? Oh my God, with personalism naman, yung big tech companies, they have a role in shaping the knowledge and beliefs ng users through content na they allow on their platforms. And si Facebook naman, fails to form well-rounded beliefs kasi ayaw nila i-regulate in some way yung political ads na may misinformation. So dito, profit is king talaga since prioritize siya over transparency and truth.
Yeah, that's true. So I'll add to that lang, Dani. So, deontology naman, they aren't ethical din. Kasi it's the duty of the company talaga to help avoid the spread of misinformation, which clearly hindi nila ginagawa. Tapos for virtue ethics naman, while it is up to the users to discern false ads, Facebook's decision to, it doesn't promote temperance because they're acting in the excess of totally refusing to filter ads na pwedeng mag-lead to deception.
Oh my God. This whole thing is an info overload as in nakalag ng brain. Pero move on na tayo sa Democrats and Republicans. Okay, so sa Democrats they're not ethical too. Kasi kahit pinupush nila yung censorship, which can be something good to eliminate spread of misinformation, di nila ina-apply yung same standard of censorship to themselves. And if you look at it through utilitarianism, yung content na they wanna censor are Republicans. And censoring one side lang doesn't promote yung greater good of the people.
Okay, I get your point, Bestie Danny. Pero sa Republican side, since walang nagsisensor, the good of the public is being promoted kasi people are taught not to rely on censorship alone, but to educate themselves in finding out kung ano talaga yung misinformation. Kaso the problem here is, syempre, even if that happens, the Republicans can and probably still will release false ads against the Democrats, which is scary, diba? I mean, saan ka na pupunta?
Oh my God. Truly, 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 I super agree with you. But before we get carried on, let's move on to personalism for Democrats. Kasi nga, if we apply the censorship, parang one side lang, diba, ng political party yung nasa Facebook and may expose lang yung users sa isang side. And so yung judgment and beliefs ng users, hindi siya well-rounded. So unethical siya dito. And also, sa virtue ethics naman, super similar to personalism, na censoring only one political party is not the golden mean of censorship. Not Aristotle approved. Sorry! Ugh.
Okay, besties. Dito naman tayo sa side of the Republicans. Kasi I was thinking na, if we don't censor ads, it will allow freedom of expression. But But without censorship, people can use it as an excuse rin to post false political ads. So it's not good pa rin. Also, when you don't censor, it gives people the chance to discern what's truthful and kung ano yung false ads. But again, Republicans are unethical here for virtue ethics because it gives them free range for people to post false political ads, which is obviously not just.
Truly.
Okay, we have been talking about this issue for a long time now. So para may marating tayo sa discussion na to, I just want to suggest something to solve this. I feel like, tell me if you agree, besties, but I feel like Facebook should re-identify itself. Kasi for a long time, they've identified themselves as just a platform. However, that has become a problem for both the platform and its users. Users abuse the freedom of expression by violating of Facebook's community standards in their posts, while Facebook sometimes deliberately puts down certain content which goes against the concept of being a free platform. And given now that people also use Facebook as a source of news, Facebook should be re-identified as a platform that serves as a source for general information while serving its initial purpose of connecting people together. Kasi syempre, sis, diba? I mean, mga besties, pandemic, saan ba tayo makaka-reconnect with people except on social media platforms?
I agree with you, sis. Tama yung suggestion mo, my gosh. Pero ako, may suggestion din ako. Like, parang, what Facebook that they should remove their, newsworthy exemption for political ads completely. Because this allows the company to keep political ads on the platform, even if it violates the community standards, if they think the harm people will get from seeing the ad is lesser than the public interest. I mean, this newsworthy exemption gives Facebook the leeway to impose their biases since they said that it is up to them to determine whether a political ad is newsworthy or not. So, I really suggest we remove this.
Okay, Dar, are you done? You're done? Okay. Okay, kasi I just discovered something right now. Kasi Facebook pala it already has an existing site that contains several educational programs and platforms that help its users with, and I quote, it says here that it is to navigate the digital world, critically consume information, and responsibly produce and share content. And Facebook calls it Digital Literacy Library. You can search it up later. Now, the main dilemma for this kasi is not a lot of people know. Di ba? We all don't know about it. So, I suggest na, diba? So, I suggest na, we make it more known within Facebook's users' news feeds. So, the platform that is Facebook, they will notify users that the educational site exists through pop-up notifications done in siguro mga 1 week intervals so that those who are Facebook users would be, well aware of its existence, if you.
Wait, guys. Okay, share ko lang. Just a brain fart.
Mm-hmm.
Like with all the modules na yung site already has, Facebook can insert another permanent module called Identifying False Content for advertisements, articles, and news. That's made specifically for users to be able to discern whether or not yung material na nire-read nila is the truth or not.
And well, bestie, that can only happen when people themselves are educated, which is why these suggestions are really good, and that's why censoring just even more isn't benefiting anyone.
True.
That is a bam wow statement to end tonight's vidcast. Guys, we extended, as in yesterday. Mas matagal pa tayo kasi sa vidcast natin yesterday. But I hope our listeners and all of our watchers out there, I hope you guys enjoyed today's discussion for our vidcast. And if you want to hear more of our discussions, come visit our website. Again, tomorrow we will have another new topic. But for now, all of us would like to say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.